what is the most dangerous thing a parent can say to a child?
Mama,
Do not tell your children they are mad. It is very dangerous. A wonderful day to you, beautiful people. Welcome to the Royal Scholars Talk Show, where we bring you all things infotainment to kickstart your weekend. And I am your host, the mellifluous Sharon Edache. Today we'll be discussing another interesting topic. But before we go further, I'm excited to inform you that on today's episode, we have a very special segment where we'll be playing a game with our guests. I'm sure it will be lots of fun and you would not want to miss that. So make sure you stay tuned and watch till the end. Now let's delve into our discussion improper. Every child is born full of potential, yet many lose their way. Not because they are not capable, but when a child fails academically, morally, and socially, who takes the blame? Is it the parents, the teachers, or the society we all live in? When a child is struggling, not just academically, morally, socially, or emotionally, who really is to blame? And this brings about the important question that we have to discuss today. Today, we're not just here to point fingers, we're here to spark reflections, find truth, and most importantly, find solutions. And to help us find those solutions this very morning, we have two wonderful guests in the studio today. By my right, I have Mrs. Aisha Lowell, an entrepreneur and a passionate child advocate. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here.
thank
We
you
really
very much.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
And by my left, we have Mrs. Nasat, the HOD of RSS Primary Section and a passionate teacher. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
So, this question is for the both of you. Somewhere in the world right now, there is a child who is sitting in class and falling behind, not because they are not capable, but because the adults in their lives haven't found a way to reach them. Now, we all know this child. Some of us were this child. So let's start from the very beginning and let's also try to avoid pointing fingers. But let's first agree on what failing a child actually means. Because a parent might define it in one way, a teacher in another, and a sociologist in another way entirely. What does it mean in your view to fail a child? And what does a successful child truly mean beyond grades and certificates?
Um, Thank you for this wonderful question. I think nowadays parents, we manage children, we don't raise them. What do I mean by managing children? Yeah, all we care about is, have you eaten? Have you done your homework? Have you cleaned, or have your school fees been paid? And this is what we look at now, not raising a child. And I want to say raising a child is a collective effort. The first foundation is the home.
Yes.
This is where you teach the child behavior, the child learns attitude, he learns how to respect people. And in school, the teacher nurture and the society as well too. So it's a chain. And one breaks, honestly, the child suffers. So I think it's a collective effort from either the parents, but as like I said earlier, it starts from the home. Because no matter, and I'll also say that no matter, I've seen a lot of well-trained children who were trained at home, but at the end of the day, the as in they mess up outside. You understand? Because they mingle with friends who are toxic. You understand? No matter how you train your child, you check your his friends, the kind of people he mingles around with, and like before, the community train the child. You understand? Discipline, you can get discipline even outside your home. But nowadays, it's only the parents. It's left with point fingers at each other. You understand? Parents are not doing their job. Teachers, I would say some teachers are tired. You don't expect the teacher to, some are underpaid. You understand?
Yes.
So with that, I think you don't expect a child, but if we see these children as ours, if we, the teachers, see the children as ours, you see every child as somebody who should succeed in life. This I see this child as my child. I think the world will be a better place and we'll have well trained and well behaved children.
Thank you, ma'am. As a parent, what does a successful child mean to you?
Um,
Beyond grades and certificates.
I think we measure success by grades, certificates, awards, and what have you. So I think for me, I think that's not success. Success is succeeding in life, succeeding in relationship, succeeding in your career, because your grades, your certificates can open doors for you, but your attitude and your character is what keeps the door open for a longer time.
Yes, ma'am.
So we really need to look at that. You want to be a successful person. I see a successful child as a responsible person, and this is where I think this is how I see success.
Thank you very much, madam. What a wonderful response there. Mrs. Nansat, in your view, what does it truly mean to fail a child? And what is a successful child beyond certificates and grades?
Okay, failing a child, from my own view, is simply when the society, the family, and the teachers fail in their responsibility. Now, bringing up a child, a successful child, is not done by one person. It is a collective effort, just as our sister here said. We have to collaborate to get the best out of these children. The three have to come together. But when there's a failure from the home front, the parent, there's a failure from the school, the teachers, and there's a failure from the society, then you can say that we have all failed the child. If just one aspect fails the child, we have all failed because it is a collaborative effort. The home is the first teacher. The home is where the child first knows, is the first school, is the first teacher, is the first everything. He gets his values there, morals, and what have you. He comes to the school to get his education, gets knowledgeable, get mentorship from the school. And the society molds his values. From the society, your peer group, you get good peer group. It's either a good peer group or a bad peer group influence and all of that. So if one of these does not do what they need to do, then we have all failed the child. And you could only say a child is successful if all these three aspects are being taken care of as expected. If any aspect is not done as expected, then we have all failed the child, and then it doesn't make the child successful. Success is not measured by grades, even though this is what the society looks out for, and what parents look out for from the school is to see the grade. Even when the teachers are trying to explain to parents that your child is very good, how do you translate this excellent child if at the end of the day the result is not showing it? So, in as much as parents look out for good grades, A's, and all of that, what have you, it's beyond that. A child could have all good grades but very bad in behavior. That does not make the child successful. So it is an all-round molding. The school is just beyond academics. You do academics, you check behavior, you check everything, so that when the child is presented before the society, you have a holistic, molded child there.
Thank you very much, madam. So you both agree that the three parties, the parents, the teachers, and the society have a role to play, and it's beyond just certificates and grades, but attitude and character. Thank you so much. Now let's go round the table. Mrs. Lowell, I would like to start with you. In your honest estimation, not a diplomatic answer, an honest one, who bears the greatest responsibility when a child is failing in school? Is it the parents, the teacher, or the society that built the system they are both operating in?
I would say this is a very uncomfortable question anyway, but we are talking about failing a child educationally. The major responsibility, I think, the school carries a major responsibility academically. Why? Because we've seen children that comes from a poor or uneducated home. You understand, and you still see them strive. they succeed excellently academically. If we look at that, if a school is well structured, you have well structured teaching techniques, you have teachers who are willing to teach. You understand? Definitely a child will strive. And we've seen children who are excellently intelligent fail in a school that is not well structured. You understand? So why did I say that? We don't really check. Sometimes we don't check what the child. We have slow learners. You understand? What do? We find students like that. You select them, check and know who are the slow learners early. Are you teaching for them to understand, or you're just teaching to cover up the syllabus? You understand? So if you do that, the children understand whatever you're teaching. Academically, honestly, I think the school carries the more responsibility of while a child fails or performs poorly academically. And the parents also should also be blamed in one way or the other. You actually need to be involved in your child's academic too, because I would say it's a collaboration. If a child is declining academically, I expect the school to call on the parents. We notice this child is going below average. What do we do? If it is coming from the home, you go back to the table as a parent. Look at for your child. Is he spending late hours watching TVs? Is he spending more time on the internet? You look out for that, and we can both work on it, and definitely the child will excel.
Okay, thank you, madam. So you're saying it is the greatest
Yeah, the
blame,
major responsibility. School carries the major
major
responsibility when it comes
responsibility,
to poor academic performance.
but the parents are
Yeah, because
also
we've seen parents who are not educated. How do you expect? We have a lot of let me give an example. Mathematics now. I'm sorry to say I'm not really good at math. My child can bring a mathematics question for me that I can't answer. If the school is doing his job, I don't think I need to do that. Did you make him understand? If I cannot do it, then it's the school responsibility to make him understand and also learn. The only thing I can do as a parent is to check whether the child is reading, to check whether he's doing his homework the way it should, you understand? But if the school is well structured academically, I don't think the parents need to bother.
okay. So are you saying that parents should only have a minimal inputs in
Yeah,
their
it's
child's
minimal in a way, but I think just like I said earlier, the school carries the major responsibility. Just like I cited, there are parents who are uneducated. Then what happens to those
yes.
children? You understand? And we've seen those that are without really good supervision thrive, and we've seen kids that are not doing well, but because the school is well structured, they excel too.
Thank you very much, madam. Mrs. Nassat,
Yeah.
now to you. In your honest estimation, when a child fails in school or when a child fails academically, who bears the greatest responsibility? Is it the parents, the society, or the teachers?
Okay, just as we had established earlier, we said for a child to succeed, the triangle, everyone has to take his responsibility, right?
Yes, ma'am.
As my friend had rightly said, the school bears more because parents are actually supposed to be involved, but their involvement is not as much as the school. Why? Because it is in the school that you have the trained personnel. It is in the school that you have the skilled personnel. They know the right methods to use, they know the right skills to use, they know all what to do to bring out the best in that child because they are the trained personnel to do the job. The parents will only try to catch up. And that's why when you meet some smart parents, they always collaborate with the teachers to tell them, to give them some tips on what to do. How can I help my child at home? What are you doing in the school? I've seen parents, very serious parents, serious-minded parents that have come to school to even learn how things are being done. So the school have the bulk of the work to do
Okay.
because in every class, a class of 15 students or pupils, you don't use the same method to
For
teach
each
these
child.
15 children. And that's where differentiation comes in. We have individual differences. The way child A will learn does not necessarily mean that's the method child B will use to learn. Some of these children are audio learners, some are visual learners, Some are kinesthetic learners. So there is a teacher that knows which method to use for which child. A parent at home could just use a one-way traffic method. You understand? And then if the child does not get it, they get angry and then they start beating their children and all of that. But we have the understanding as teachers that if the child is not getting it this minute, then something might be probably wrong with the method I'm using. It's left for me to go back to my drawing board and then check, okay, this child might not be an audio learner. Okay, let me try visual. And then you'll be so surprised that when you try that, you see that the child is getting it, which means the first method you use was not meant for that child. So it is the teachers that have all of those understanding. They are the ones that have all of those knowledge to know. So the school or the teachers have they are more responsible in the excellent performance of the children, even though you will see more excellence in a child whose parents are also involved. There is a difference.
Okay.
If you keep child A and child B, child A's parents are not involved. And he's a good child. Academically, he's good. Child B's parents are very much involved. And ordinarily, when you put the two, without any assistance, child A would have been better. But because child B's parents are fully involved in every step of the child's academics, you will see that at the end of the day, child B will come out more excellent than child A because their parents have also contributed their own little quarter, even if it's 10%, it goes a long way. Do you understand?
Yes,
So
madam.
if there's an absence of parents' involvement, it is the result you get at the end of the day will not be as the child whose parents were fully involved.
Okay, madam. Thank you, ma'am. So you both agree that the school has the greatest bulk of responsibility when a child is failing. But yes, academically.
Academically.
Pardon, ma'am, you said something earlier which made me think of the question. Do you mean that the teachers in school know the children more than the parents at home? Because you said the teacher is the one to know which method best suits the child, and the parents might just use a one-way method which might not necessarily suit the child and then end up getting angry, beating the child. So you mean you trying to say that the teachers know the children more than their own parents?
Very correct. Very correct. Academically, the teachers know the children more than the parents. If I, as a teacher, begin to converse with the parents about his or her child, they'll be surprised of what I'll be telling them. Most of these discoveries, they get them from the school. It is teachers who tell parents that your child is this, your child is that, and that. So teachers know the children far more than the parents because check it, the children come to school by 7. Most of them leave school by 5, 6. So the hours they have spent is more in the school than the hours they spend at home. And even when they get home, most of these parents don't even have time to even go through what did you learn today, ask questions, interact. Most of these parents come back home when the children are already asleep. And before they wake up, the children have gone to school. So what time do they have to interact? So most of these parents, do you know that? Let me shock you. Do you know there are some parents that don't even know the classes of their children? There are some
Just
parents.
pay the fees.
Yes, they just pay the fees. And most times, even before they pay the fees, they will have to ask which class. I've seen situations where parents walk into this place and then they begin to ask, I don't even know the class. So shameful. So disheartening. So if you don't even know the classes of your children, how do you help? It means you don't even know what they are learning.
Exactly.
Some parents don't even know how much their children know. They don't even know. So when you begin to see when they just complain abstractly because they want to complain, and then you start proving your points. Your child can do this, your child can do this, and they argue. Most times what we do as a school is to just bring the child before the parents. Okay, do this without saying anything. And most times you see the parents surprised because they don't even know what the children can do. So the teachers are the ones who know the children far more than the parents. And that's why I told you that wise parents collaborate with the teachers so that they will be on the same page.
I completely agree with you, Maren. Mrs. Lowell, this question is specifically for you. There's a version of parenting that looks like love, but functions more like neglect. That parent that provides everything materially, pays the school fees on time, but is never emotionally available, never checks on homework, or never asks, how was your day today? Is that parent failing their child? And is that failure the school's problem to solve?
Yeah, absolutely. The parent is actually failing the child because no matter how busy you prioritize your children first,
Exactly.
you create time for your child. Paying, you need to be emotionally involved in your child's life. The school alone cannot train your child. No matter you can, there's a certain space or there's a certain thing that the school cannot cover. The school cannot be a parent to your child. They only teach, they only guide, and that's all they do. So as a parent, you need to be emotionally there for your child, know what your child does, you need to know his kind of friends, you need to know create time for your children, you understand? Make them your friends. Ask questions because we have gone beyond the era of you controlling. You can't control children now. The only thing you do is to guide
Guide
them.
them.
You understand? Guide them on what to do. You cannot automatically say, "I." You can't watch this, but if you watch this, what are the lessons you've learned? What are the negative things you've seen? Guide them. You understand? So I think a lot of parents are actually failing their kids. You think providing food, providing school fees and
Clothes.
clothing, providing internet for the child without even checking what the child is doing on the
Exactly.
internet. I think that's not enough. You need to know your child, know his concern. A lot of children are suffering from mental health now. You understand?
Yes.
Because their parents are not involved. You need to give them that parental love. They can only get from you alone. You understand? You can only get that from your parents. So I think a lot of parents are actually neglecting that. If you see a failed child, is it the right word to use? A child who is not emotionally stable, you can easily tell.
So exactly.
If you see a child who is being loved, even without material, you can tell. You understand? So we need to be involved in our children's life, love them, nurture them, you understand? Guide them, protect them. They need safety. So but we neglect that. We think paying school fees. Sometimes this pickup that we do is really, really important. We don't just leave our children in the hands of drivers. Drop my child. If you have time, bring them to school.
So
If you have time, pick them, come into the school, know what they do. Because nowadays, I think we might have children with two different personalities. You're different at home and you're different in school. And I think this is where this parent contact come in. Like somebody like me, whenever I come for parent contact, I don't just ask for academic performance. I make sure I ask for how does he behave in class? Is he disrespectful? Is something we should look at. Some parents, some teachers can tell you that they can be honest. See, this child is becoming this way. Then you, as a parent, you work on it. Can we please work together? What can we do? What do you think? Are you comfortable with the kind of friends? Because just like she said, the teachers know them more than we do. They know this to their children, the children more than we do. They know their character. Some will exhibit some certain kind of character that if they tell you in school, you'll be shocked. Is this my child? But we shouldn't deny that. Children can be like that. You understand? But if you work hand in hand, I would love to come to school and you tell me exactly how my child behaves at home. Even if this is rude, I think I rather know than him being pretending in school while he's a different person at home. You understand? Don't make your children, don't put that fear in them. They should be comfortable. And a lot of us parents are just scared of the embarrassment that particular time. We don't teach values. You will teach them those values before they even exhibit that character. Maybe let me give an example. A mom goes out with her child and he insults an elder or he's disrespectful to an elder. All you're concerned about is he disgraced you. Why did he do that at that particular time? Did you instill that value in him? Did you make him understand the consequences of doing that? I think no matter what, a child shouldn't insult an adult. You have no right. There is no any reason. We tend to see these children, they are being expressive. They should express themselves. Yeah, it's okay for a child to express himself, but in a respectful way. If you don't feel good about anything, say it, but how did you say it? I think we should really look out for that. We really need respectful children. We really need to bring back our discipline. That don't take that away. We are African parents. Don't take that away. We shouldn't do that. You understand? So I think we need to be emotionally involved in our children's life. Know what they do. Know what makes them happy. Know what triggers their anger. Then you tell them the consequences of that anger. If you do this, this is what happens. If you do this, it doesn't tell us good about you or even the family at large. I think if we do that, we'll have a better society in the
Thank you
future.
very much. I completely agree with you. You said something about parents' unavailability affecting a child's mental health. And I read a while ago that 80% of the causes of psychosis in children is because of neglect from their parents. Yes, thank you very much, madam. Mrs. Nansat, and on the other side, there's a teacher who knows their subject perfectly but cannot connect with that child sitting in the third row, silently drowning in class. Is subject mastery enough? What does a teacher owe a struggling child beyond curriculum?
Okay. As a teacher, your function in the class is not just to teach academics. You are in the class to transfer the knowledge. You are in the class to serve as a counselor. You are in the class to serve as a doctor because you see problems you diagnose, right? You are in the class to serve as a parent to these children. So it's beyond just teaching curriculum. As a teacher in the class, you are supposed to be very observant of every child, of every child. So having a pupil in your class that is not carried along, it is your responsibility to identify that this child is not following up. This child is lost in the class, even though present, but doesn't even know what is happening. It is the responsibility of a teacher to do that. And that's why teachers have to be people who are extremely observant. They should be people who have empathy. Whatever the children have lost from home, they shouldn't lose it in school too. We have children who are from broken homes, not because they are dullards, not because they don't have the brain to understand what you're teaching, but most of them are lost in the class. We've had situation of a child who we always used to be a very lively child, and suddenly she just locked up, wasn't getting anything again. She used to be a very lively child, but suddenly became a very moody child, very aggressive, and all of that, and very withdrawn. She was always to herself. Thankfully, to the teacher in that class there, she had to call her. Yes, noticed and called her. What's wrong with you? This is not you that I know. What's happening to you? She called her in private, and that was when the girl said the mother was no longer in the house again. So the mother's absence affected her in all ramifications. She wasn't stable again academically, she wasn't stable emotionally, she wasn't just herself again. So it is the function of the teacher to notice such children. And then you get to know some of them, it's not that they are not good academically, as I said, it's because of a problem maybe from the home front, or it could even be in the class. It could be a bully case in the class. Because amongst them in the class, some are bullies to others. So you should know, first of all, establish what the problem is and then know how to solve it. If it is an emotional problem, get to the root of the matter and see how it can be solved. If it is an academic problem, what is the problem? Is it the style I'm using, just as I said earlier on? Is it the method? Is it too high for your level? Because some children are not actually fit for certain classes. So if it is something that is higher, you just get to know what the actual problem is, and then you help to solve the problem. You don't just teach and don't care if they've all gotten it or not. You have to be mindful of every child in the class. And that's why I said earlier, I said you need to apply differentiation. Make sure that you are solving every child's problem in the class. So you don't just neglect a child who is not being carried along in the class. You need to be mindful to know what the problem is, and then you get to the root of the matter. If it's a problem from the home front, of course you try to see how you can mediate. Try to see how you can mediate.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
We've had a situation where a child was being maltreated from the home, and we intervened. And the problem was solved by retrieving the child from the home for that time and allowing the child to be enrolled in the hostel so that the child can be stable.
Yes.
And that helped a lot. So we also serve as mediators, as teachers. You understand? So it is our responsibility to make sure that every child's welfare is our priority beyond academics.
Yes. Thank you so much, madam. That was a very beautiful response there. So we've learned that a teacher actually has a very big role to play in the life of a child. Shout out to all the good teachers out there who are doing their job. We really appreciate you. Now, this question is for the both of you guys to answer. Here is the hardest version of this question. What if no one is actually failing the child? What if the parent is doing their best and the teacher, on the other hand, is also doing their best, but the child is still falling between the gap? What do we call that? And who fixes it?
Just like I said earlier, I said it's a chain.
Mm,
Once one fails or breaks, definitely the child suffers. Definitely there was a breakage somewhere, either from the home or maybe from this school or the society. I also said earlier that we've seen children who came from a well behaved, well trained home that turned out to be nuisance in the society. Maybe definitely, I would say not all anyway, but maybe it could be the parents failed in carrying out their responsibilities, or he was influenced in school or the society. This is where involving yourself as a parent comes in. Because the child carries your name. If
yes.
a child fails, nobody will say, one Royal Scholar student did this. Nobody will
Yes.
mention that. The first thing that comes to people's mind is, so person's child did this until you become an adult. That is why you nurture them, you teach them values for the future before they become adults. Mostly, I would say, is the parent. If we're talking about morals, it's the parent because you could tell a well-behaved, you could tell a child that comes from a well-behaved home. You could easily tell if he's deviating. You can also know that okay, this is how this child was. Maybe the problem is coming from either the school, his peer group, who he mingles around with, or the society. So this is why we need to check out for who our children hang around with. And also the internet, I would say, because we've seen a lot of children have so many more role models on the internet. You as a parent, you need to make your voice very loud because there are thousands and hundreds of voices that are out there. Is your voice loud enough for your child that anytime he sees anything that will affect him morally or will affect his values, is your voice loud at that particular moment? And it's really very important. You keep saying it because we've seen children that well behaved. Once they get to university, they are
They
something different
change.
because that means your voice is not loud enough. I'm not saying in all situations. We've seen some children that are well trained in school, are well trained at home, and the society or the environment around them is still very, very morally organized, but still they still fail. This I would say this you failed yourself. If you can get all this, if all this chain are together, you got you're well trained at home, the school did their best, the society gave you all you needed, and you still failed. And I would say the child failed himself. You understand? Nobody's responsible at that particular moment. At a certain age,
Yes.
you understand? There's this saying that said you break a stick
Still fresh.
when it's still fresh, but by the time it's dry, it will be very hard for you. What have we done as parents from the beginning? There are certain the values that if it is still in your child, honestly, no matter what, I don't think even if he will deviate, not completely, you will still see that little value, you still see that little discipline in that your child. So I think we all fail. We fail because we carry these children along. The school, the teacher sees the child as my own. You understand? I think we will not fail because if you don't do good, it's your problem. I'm not your father. I'm not your mother. If we can just stop this mindset, we need to take that away from our mind. Let's take that mindset. Every child needs to prosper. Every child needs to be successful. If you see that, I remember my teacher in primary school, Mr. John. I will never forget that man. I've seen how much he has done for us in our life. If teachers can be like that, honestly, I don't think he has really touched our lives morally, academically, and in so many ways. I think he has done his own part in my own life. My parents have done theirs, my teacher, and the society where I live did theirs. So I see no reason why I should fail. If anything happened, then I failed myself.
Exactly. Thank you so much, madam. This your response calls for a deep reflection. Not just the parents, not just the teachers, but the children themselves to see who is actually failing who or whether you are the one failing yourself. Thank you so much, madam. Madam Nansat, you also have to answer the same question.
Okay.
What if a parent is doing their best and the teacher is also doing their best and the child is still falling through the gap? What do we call that and who fixes it?
Okay. So there's also what we call the triangle of learning in a child. Just as we said, the first triangle was for the parents, for the teachers, and for the society. Now we have another triangle where the child also has a role to play, the teachers have a role to play,
And
the parents also have a role to play. So if the first triangle was well handled, the teachers played their role well, the parents did, and the society also played their own role well, and the child still is failing. The child, it simply means that the child did not play his role well. But then I see it in a way that, at times, if your role is not well explained to you, you might not know that this is your responsibility, this is your responsibility. You might be thinking, this part is not for me. But if it is well explained to, and the explanation comes from the home and then the school, know that you also have a role to play. For a child to succeed, let me come academically. For a child to succeed academically, you should also know that you have a role to play. You have a role to play. Your parents have provided everything you need to make it comfortable and convenient for you to excel. Your teachers have done their best by teaching you, using all what they can to help you understand. You have the role to go and study. To go and study. So if you don't play your own role, you will definitely fail. So it simply means that the child did not play his role well. Or when we played our role as teachers, as parents, and society, maybe we didn't play it well. It is one thing to play your role and another thing to play it well. If you don't play it well, then maybe the child did not get it well. It is one thing for you to just talk and then go, and then it's another thing for you to insist and instill that values in the child. You could be in a very good environment where there are zero tolerance of bad behaviors, no social media influence, no peer group influence, but because you have refused to key in, to align into the environment, the good environment you found yourself, you could leave that environment and go to another environment that will influence you. Your own environment was a very good one, but you refuse to remain there. You now move to where you get influence. So you have actually failed yourself. And that's why the Bible, let me go biblical, the Bible says, train up a child in the way that it should. You could train a child, but not in the way that it should. That when the child grows, the child will never forget those ways. They will never depart from the ways. So when you're training a child, make sure you are deliberate about what you're doing. You are conscious of the kind of training you are giving. So if the training is not the type that goes down, the depth of the training, if it does not go down, then the training will not really hold water when the time comes. You get. So the child could be the one failing himself, then the training that was given or the role that was played by the parent, teachers, and the society maybe was not good enough. So any of these could be factors.
Thank you so much, madam. So we all agree that the child also has his role to play in his or her own success. Well, thank you very much, viewers, for watching up to this point. I'm sure you've learned a lot. I also have learned a lot. We'll be going on a short break right now to take a quick word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Royal Scholar School, where excellence meets innovation. At Royal Scholar, we believe every child deserves more than just an education. They deserve a future filled with possibilities. With our modern electronic teaching boards, learning comes alive and unforgettable. Our conducive learning environment is fully equipped with classrooms, distraction-free surroundings that encourage focus and creativity.
Need a home away from home? Our comfortable hostel facilities grant you that. We nurture potentials with qualified and passionate teachers, well-stocked libraries, ICT suites, and a variety of extracurricular activities. Enroll your child today and give them the Royal Scholar advantage. Visit us at Musa Ilu Street, opposite ARCC Beautiful Gate, Bukan Lafia. Call us on 080-3600-8829 or our website www.royalscholarschool.com. Royal Scholar Schools, your child, your pride, your future.
Welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is the Royal Scholars Talk Show, and we're discussing on the topic who is failing the child, the parents, the teachers, and the society. It has been a very, very interesting session with our wonderful guests. Now, moving forward to the next question, Mrs. Lawal. In a world of smartphones and social media, how can a parent realistically control what shapes their children? And what is that one thing you think parents today must urgently change if children are to succeed?
We are way past the era of control now.
Yes.
You don't restrict what completely. You don't restrict what your child does on, because whether we like it or not, we're in a digital era now. You only guide what your child watches. Um, just like I said earlier, know what he watches online. Is it educative? And definitely he will stumble on one or two negative things online. But how was he guided enough to know that this is actually wrong, this is actually right? Because as I said also, we have a lot of social media role models. We have a lot of TikTok. They look up to them. They don't see what happened behind closed door. All what they see is the success.
Yes.
How did he achieve that success? Let your child understand that you don't just see people like that because you know better.
Yes.
You don't just allow your child to just be in the internet. He sees this and say this, he's successful. I really want to be like him. No, you don't know what happens behind closed door. So you should be able to let him understand this is what goes behind closed door before he was able to become who he is, and make sure he looks up to. And we the parents too, we should watch what we watch. We should be careful what we watch. Some of us are out there on the internet 247 watching what only God knows. If you do that, you think your child is not watching. He's watching. You have to be very careful. If you're watching educative materials, educative things online, definitely I think this is what your child should be watching. And whether we like it or not, we can't take that on. We can't say we are not giving them phones. No, give them those phones and watch what they do. I'm going to give an example with my child. I think a few years ago, he never had a phone. I just realized that he's always on my phone. Anytime I drop my phone, he picks. What are you doing on my phone? You understand? And when I started giving him, I had to lecture him. See, I will guide you. You don't have to be a spy. Be a mentor in your child's life. We're in the digital world, just like I said. Allow them be on the internet. A lot of things happen there. You understand? A child can learn a lot. As I was trying to tell you, I gave him a phone, and there was this digital stuff that was going on, and he was just invited. He created an AI stuff, and just because I gave him the phone, this is the only way he could transfer whatever to his phone. So when he attended the program, while sitting down, one of the professor lecturing there, now pass was like, he just used the opportunity, sir, can you please see my work? And he saw it, he was so impressed. He had to call him on stage. We have a student who did, and I think he was one of the youngest among the participants there. So because of, I gave him access and allowed him do the things he needed to do, positive things, and it fetched him a scholarship. You understand? He saw it, he was so impressed. So you don't just say, I'm not giving my child a phone, I'm not, but watch what he does on the internet. Don't just be a spy and don't be too controlling. He will make mistakes, he will see things, but once you see that, call him to attention. You see this thing that you've seen here. These are the consequences if you say you want to go this way. So you have to be very careful. You show him the negative, or you show him the positive side of the internet. In everything, I think there's a disadvantage in internet, and there's also a lot. When I say the advantage is more than the disadvantages, so I think you should look at the advantage of the internet and look out for what your child is doing online. I think when it's shower, you can't take that away from the shower. So we need to allow them explore that aspect, but with caution.
Yes. So you're saying that parents need to let children find themselves, but
Exactly.
also guide them.
Guide them, exactly.
Thank you so much, madam. That's a fabulous response there. Mrs. Nansat, can a good school completely correct the failures of a poor home upbringing?
The school, especially a good one, always tries its best to see that these children are molded holistically. But the truth is that no matter how good the school is, the school alone cannot completely correct a poor upbringing of a child. Because the parents, no matter how well or how good the school tries to correct it, the child still goes back home. So if it's not corrected from the home front, whatever you're correcting here, the child still goes back to it. So the school can only try its best to see that it's corrected to a certain percentage, not completely. Then the home has to play its own role too. But they will get it better if they both collaborate. Whatever the problem is from home, the school should find a way to solve the problem with the home, making them understand the reason why it must be done together. Do you understand? So the school, no matter how good it is, no matter how standard it is, cannot completely solve the problem of a poor home bringing of a child. So the home has a role to also play.
So in what percentage can the school help to solve the problem of an improper home upbringing from the home?
No matter how a school tries, even if you try as much as 80%, you won't be able to get it all. Even if you say the child should remain with me, don't go back home again, he will still go back home.
Yes.
When it's holiday time, what do you do with the child? The child will have to go back home. So the school will just have to find a way of knowing what the problem is from the home front, trying to see how you can interact with these parents, and then let them know how the problem at home is affecting the child in the school. Maybe when they know it that there's an effect, a negative effect of what is happening from the home in the school, they will try to understand and help to solve the problem together. The school and the home.
I also want to say something on this. That's why I said earlier the school should have a structure. Structure doesn't really mean academic. There are some behaviors that schools should not tolerate, because we have other children from other homes, and this is where that influence comes in. There are consequences for every behavior. There should be consequences for every behavior or every action in every school. Certain behaviors should not be tolerated. You understand? If you try as a school, call the parents and nothing is working out, then the school knows what to do, because you cannot. It's going to affect the whole school, because I think one child can spoil the whole school. So if you notice that and you try calling out the parents, you tried your best as a school, I think if it's going beyond against your standard, then I think there should be consequences for every child. The school should not tolerate that behavior, because it's coming from the home. You understand? You know what to do. So it's certain the behavior shouldn't be allowed in school. Yeah, there should be consequences for that too.
Okay. Thank you so much, madam, for that contribution. Thank you, Madam Nansat, for your response. Now to the segment we've all been waiting for, the game. It's called the Rapid Fire Game. So the rules are very simple. I'll ask a question, and you respond with the first thing that comes to your mind. No explanation, no qualifying, just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay? Are you ready for my game?
Yeah.
Madam Nasat, are you ready for my game?
Yeah.
Okay, let me start with you, Mrs. Mahal. What is the most dangerous thing a parent can say to a child?
You're mad.
You're mad. Oh, so the most dangerous thing a parent can say to a child is you're mad. More or less like abuse, like verbal abuse,
Yes.
because it brings down a
A
child's.
child, yeah, I think just like you said, it's the first thing. You said the first thing that came
Yes,
to my mind.
of course.
There's a lot more.
Yes.
There are lots more.
So parents out there, do not tell your children they are mad. It is very dangerous. Mrs. Nansat, what is the one thing that society celebrates that is slowly destroying our children?
Great.
Grades. Oh, so
Academic
grades. Grades are overrated, right? So to say, because a child is more than the grades. Because some children are not good at purely academics.
Yeah.
Some are like extracurricular activities. Because not everyone succeeds in academics. Yes, thank you so much, Mrs. Lowell. The society will only stop failing children
When we have this mindset of what can a child do or not, what can he do right?
Okay.
What can he do by himself, not what can he do, because we always make mistakes.
Yes. Everybody is human. Mistakes are bound to be made. So we should majorly focus on what they can do, not just what they can do right. Mrs. Nansat, what's the one thing parents do that teachers wish they stop?
Parents push the whole blame to teachers.
Blaming teachers. Of
They
course.
feel they don't have a role to play.
Of course, parents have the role to play because the home is the foundational building block of a child's life. So, parents, you've heard it here, stop blaming everything on the teachers. You also have a role to play in the life of your child. Mrs. Lowell, that adult who made the biggest impact in your life, what is that one thing the person did? What did the person do? That adult who made the biggest impact in your life, what is that one thing the person did?
Making me feel like I'm enough.
Of course, that is very deep actually. You have to make the child feel welcome, make the child feel they're enough, yeah, so they can embrace their full potentials and be what they truly are meant to be in life. And now to the final question of this game, Mrs. Nazat. If a child is watching this program right now, what is that one message you want them to hear?
For every child watching this program right now, I just want to tell you that you must believe in yourself. Keep calm, be focused. Everything is possible for you to achieve in this life. It could be difficult now, but with constant practice and effort, you will succeed. Just be focused, believe in yourself.
Yes, you heard it here. Make sure you be focused. For every student and child watching right now, Mrs. Nasat has said it, that you all need to be focused. You all need to put in the hard work and discipline, and of course, you will achieve whatever you want to achieve. And now, to the final question, the last question of the show, and this question goes to the both of you. Let me start with you, Mrs. Lowell. We want your most honest answer and your most considered answer. If you could change one thing, just one thing, one habit, one cultural shift, one conversation that hasn't been had, what would do the most to stop children from being failed? And why haven't we done it yet?
I think we have dropped our culture of the way our parents trained us. We say we're in the Gen Z world, these kids are like that. This thing, you don't push them too hard. You understand? We invite that culture or we bring it back. Honestly, I think our children will not feel. Let's bring back that spirit of the society or the community discipline a child. Don't just look at the child and say, since he's not my child, I don't care whatever he does. Because it goes wrong, you understand? This same child can end up being the child influencing your child in a bad way. You never can tell. So we can don't just say because it's not my child, I don't care. The table will turn around. It's like you bring that culture of like you see a child who does wrong, and we parents should be careful. We don't just because your child is being corrected, we say why should this person correct my child? Why should that? Please learn to know what that child actually did. If something that you come together with whoever that is correcting the child to correct the child, I think it will bring a very big impact in the life of the child.
Okay, thank you so much, madam. Mrs. Nansat, what is that one thing that you would change to stop that would do the most to stop children from being failed? And why haven't we done it yet?
Okay, one thing we must do, or I must do to see that children are being stopped from being failed is when you see the children the way they are. Don't write off any child. Don't write off any child. Be you a teacher, be you a parent, be you the society. The greatest mistake you will ever make is when you write off a child. When you don't give a child the opportunity to show its potential to the fullest. Every child on this earth is a star. If you watch the movie like Stars on Earth, you will understand what I'm trying to say. Never write off any child. The child you see not doing well today, you'll be surprised if the child meets the right hand and the right guidance tomorrow. You won't believe that is that same child. So please never write off any child. And I will continue to advocate that no child is a dollar. Every child has something to offer to the society and the entire world. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful response, Mrs. Nansat. And we've come to the end of our show today. I'm sure you've learned a lot. The topic was who is failing the child, the teachers, the parents, or the society. We've learned that every child has potentials, and every parent has the job to bring out those potentials in collaboration with the teachers and also the society. Everyone has a role to play in the upbringing of successful children. Thank you very much for watching to the end. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, Mrs. Lowell and Mrs. Nansat, for being here. We really appreciate your presence here and your contributions. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the organizers of this wonderful platform. It's really educative, it's really interesting. We are truly humble.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maya. Thank you, viewers, for watching to the end. Make sure you like, share your comments, share your thoughts with us in the comment section, and subscribe so you know when next we drop another episode. That'll be all for now. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.
Of Royal College School, and this is the
Royal College Talk Show. I'm Benny Musa Tongwa. I hope you enjoyed our show for today.
My name is Mariam Ibrahim Sandra.
Odavo.